So digital transition is hard for everybody, but especially for weekly magazines, because there is a legacy problem, and you've noticed Newsweek is more or less dead. Time is the shadow of its former self. The Economist is doing well, of course, yes, but it's talking about business, it's global, English speaking. In France, our competitor L'Express just got sold for €1, and Le Point is doing well, but is losing lots of money. So is l'Obs, formerly Le Nouvel Observateur for the French audience here, is it doomed because it's a French news mag? I don't think so, because serious times calls for serious journalism. And l'Obs, I think, still has many assets. A strong brand, loyal readership, a unique position on the French political landscape. It's center-left. We don't have a lot of successful politicians that are center-left, but I think we have communities that still cherish values of the social democracy. We have good journalists, and we have a solid reputation for cultural reporting and intellectual debating. So first, a very brief presentation of l'Obs. So you see the figures here. It's a #2 French news mag on the market. Paid circulation is 246,000 copies each week, but the readership is much larger, 2.3 million each week. And our problem, its revenues and circulation mainly from print, 90%, more than 90%. So l'Obs.com, our website, is a powerful website at par with the French HuffPost and Le Parisien, but like all print titles, we are going through rough times. We are over-dependent on print and our history, with a structural decline, of course, of sales and ad revenues on print. So I've been in charge 1 year. I was a regular journalist. I was covering business and innovation, and I accepted to become editor-in-chief because I love this magazine. I must confess I've been on board 30 years. And because I was covering innovation and business, and because I have written on digital disruption of whole industries, I wanted to prevent l'Obs from becoming the Kodak of the media sector. So there is an opportunity to succeed, I think, because consumers are beginning to pay for serious news content, as we've seen with many experts today, and because the period has never been better for journalism. You all know it because of the environmental, social, political crisis of the Western world, Brexit, Trump, China, populism, etc. So the magazine had to change almost everything. We redefined the editorial line, the business model, we reshuffled the relationship to readers, and we have to strike the right balance between free and paid content, and between print and digital content. Of course, we have to expose all content on all platforms, so how do we do it? Well, we set a clear roadmap to digital transition. So we did 6 things. First, modernize the editorial line. It was aging, it was too focused on the past, on French politics, it was too top-down in its approach to our readers. We are not making a revolution because we want to keep our loyal subscribers on print, but we are trying to go back to the real DNA of the magazine and adapt it to a changing world. So we do more articles and stories on societal topics and issues, environment, schooling, parenting, gender relations, and we are doing frequent appeal to readers' testimony, and we even building cover stories with their testimonies. We're doing more coverage on innovation and the future, how do we build a desirable world going forward. We're doing solution journalism or proposal journalism, trying to make heroes of people who find solutions to difficult problems. How do you redefine social democracy? I think it's a very important topic nowadays with illiberalism gaining ground. And we, of course, doing good reporting, I think, on international crisis. And we have a very rich cultural and ideas section. So we completely reorganized the editorial team. We have 90 writers, and they were split in the past, totally split between 50% on the web and 50% on the print. And there are very different communities of journalists. Of course, the online young livers were inexperienced journalists, 20-something, hardworking, but they were on desk shifts and repurposing dispatches for most of them. They had no contact with the outside world, almost no reporting, no feature stories. On the print side, people with gray hair like me, sometimes a little complacent because they were coming from an era of great success for us, and mostly ignorant and I must say sometimes despising towards digital journalism and social networks. So what did we do? We just mixed the two communities, and we changed 3 of the top 3 on 4 of the top editors. We introduced women at the top. I'm one of them, but I promoted several of them. We changed all heads of editorial section but 2, and we mixed the 2 communities, hoping that we will have a synergy between the 2, and it did happen, so I'm very happy. Nevertheless, we didn't want to lose our audience because formerly the web was dedicated to hard news, and you cannot just suddenly do magazine stories on your website because then the audience disappears, and if you don't have bypassers in your shop, you can't sell subscriptions. So I set sort of editorial contracts with each of our departments as if they were a startup, and telling them what do you want to do on the web, what do you want to do on print, how are you going to organize. Sorry. And third thing we did is we disrupt the production rhythm. As we were a news magazine, of course, people were queuing to be on print, and that was very bad because then we didn't have enough stories to put on our website. So we disconnected the production of stories from the weekly deadline and established a freemium model online, €1 for the first month, which is really a trial subscription, and then 4.90 euros a month, which is very cheap, I think, and feature stories often go web first now. Of course, we try to dedicate less and less energy on the news content because it's commoditized and it's everywhere. And whenever we do news, we try to have a specific angle on it that reflect our editorial line. Fourth, we produce higher quality journalism. I don't elaborate on that. Everybody knows what it is. The aim is to maintain our position on the print side and to generate, of course, digital subscription with a younger readership. And sometimes it's difficult to reconcile the older audience with the new one, and sometimes I get angry letters from my old subscribers when I try new things on the cover. But really, the goal is to find our communities of readers and engage them. And even if they are not, everybody is not reading everything of what we do. The fifth thing is invest and reinforce digital marketing, establish a recurrent relation with readers through newsletters, and we give them incentives to activate their personal space on our website. We're not very sophisticated on data yet. We really come from the old one, and we are trying to build knowledge and use our data and customer relation better. And sixth thing, we develop diversification. Since we're building audience, we're trying to understand what they want from us apart from paper and screens. So we have projects that mix events and physical presence and the way to engage them in real life. So how are we doing? So far, so good. So, when I arrived, no, let's go back to 2011. You see, it was ridiculous because we really did not have a subscription model, and we were only doing hard news for free on the website. So it was non-existent, although our website began very early, but the strategy was wrong. So we had 1,000 digital subscribers back in 2011. When we really started the strategy last September, it was 7,500. And now we are at 13,000, and it's growing 300 to 400 a week, so it's promising. And the challenge, of course, is to keep them and to lower the turnover. And of course, that's difficult, but we somehow we have the same turnover or lower than the market altogether, so it's not that bad. And I must say also that we are break-even, operations are break-even, EBITDA positive, which is since a year ago, so it's not that bad. We went through 10 years of red tape before, so it's much better. So I just so that's since I took office, so I'm pretty happy with that. I want to, last point, to talk about diversification. We just launched, for instance, an event called 2049, and it's fairly ambitious, trying to guess and how we're going to live 30 years from now. We're doing events everywhere in France and in Paris, and we're producing papers and videos and digital content along this line, what with food, work, life, love, education, home, transportation look like, and medicine 30 years from now. I must confess I won't probably be around by that time, but I hope LOPS will, thanks to our efforts nowadays. So I thank you very much. I don't know whether maybe the French audience has one or two questions before I disappear. Running to time, okay.
As we're running exactly to time, what I might suggest, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I think, Dominique, I believe you'll be going upstairs during the coffee break, so if anyone's got any questions, maybe they can do that over ice cream in the coffee break. Dominique, thank you so much. That was great.